before we're going to hear the story, I would like to recognize some of our invited guests. John Duncan, Junior and Senior of the Duncan Pharmacy and Coast Plus Medical. And also would like to recognize Mr. Nunes. And of course, we'd like to introduce and recognize also Bobby Salinas, the owner of the Bobby Jeans restaurant.
Good evening. My name is Ernest Rodriguez, and I've been a member of St. James for 53 years. I'm a leader of the South Metro Alliance. And I am also a retired mailman. I delivered mail in this neighborhood for 14 years. As a mailman, what shocked me the most was seeing businesses locked up during the day. They would peek through the door and ask if there was who was there before letting anybody in, because they felt unsafe. One story I'll never forget is about a friend of mine who owns her own small business right here in the neighborhood. She was robbed twice in 1 month. The second time ended in violence in the middle of the day while she was alone. Some robbers came into her shop. They threw her to the ground, held her to her throat, and choked her while another individual emptied the cash register. What makes me angry is that what happened to her is not an isolated case. Over the past few weeks of black walking in the neighborhood, I have heard countless stories of fear. Fear of home invasions, fear of arsonists, fear of burglaries, fear of walking the streets at night, and fear of the graffiti that artists that are ruining the new paying jobs. And fear of what all this means to our families and our businesses in the neighborhood, a neighborhood that we proudly call home. Now, I don't know about you, but I am sick and tired of just sitting around and sitting on my hands and letting our neighborhood go down the drain. So I'm ready to do something about it, but I can't do it alone. We need to work together as a community, and we need for everybody to be involved.
Good evening. My name is Francisco Lugo, and I am a parishioner at St. James, a 7th grader at St. James the Apostle School, and a kid from the South Side who wants to make a difference. Sure, I come from a private school, but I want to help other kids like me succeed in life. I don't want to go to a high school that will not be equipping me with what I'll need for life. My dream is to become a doctor. People don't think I can reach my dreams just because I'm from the South Side. And what worries me are the stories I hear from my cousins who grew up in SAISD. They tell me that even though they were top students here, now they are struggling at college because they didn't get a good foundation. That really worries me because I don't want to find out in a few years that I can't go to medical school because I'm just not prepared. But as kids, it's not up to us to change our school system. We promise to stay focused on doing well in school and studying, but we need you, our parents, families, and parish community, to fight for our school now to help improve our chances of making it in the future. If you won't, who will?
Good evening. My name is Martha Reyna, and I am an 8th grade public school student here on the South Side, as well as a member of St. James Parish. After school, my friends and I either walk from school or ride a bus. And as we look outside, we see graffiti on buildings and gangs walking down the streets. Many of us are exposed to these types of things because we have little else to occupy our minds due to the lack of after-school activities. The environment we live in affects our behavior as students and the way we learn. My mom works on the north side, and she and I know kids up there whose schools provide them with all sorts of activities, from sports to music to singing. I personally enjoy the fine arts, such as singing and dancing, and I would like to learn how to play a musical instrument. But there are no options in after-school activities where I can enjoy learning these skills. We have the right to experience all these things other districts have, but we don't have that luxury. To expand our knowledge, we need more after-school activities, better, safer parks. It's the little things like this that can make a big difference in our future, especially of those who have nowhere to go after school. We need our parents to get involved in every aspect of our lives. If we don't take any actions now, many of us will end up in gangs, doing drugs, pregnant, or just having bad jobs. We are the next generation, and our future depends on your support. Thank you.
Mi nombre es Limna Ibarra y soy parroquiana de la iglesia de San James.
Hello, my name is Rebecca Ibarra, and I'll be the translator for my mother.
Cuando hicimos las caminatas de barrio, vi por la calle Nogalitos y otras avenidas algunas personas en silla de ruedas yendo por la calle. Porque las banquetas están quebradas y sin rampas. ¿Quién de ustedes ha visto lo mismo? Levanten la mano si han visto esto. Gracias. Y nomás los deshabilitados son afectados por estas pésimas banquetas. Muchas veces he visto a madres en esa misma situación cuando llevan a sus hijitos a pasear en la carriola. Amigos, esto da pena. ¿Cómo vamos a dejar que estén en peligro los más vulnerables de nuestra comunidad, los deshabilitados, los bebitos y la gente anciana? A mí me da vergüenza vivir en esas condiciones y quiero trabajar con mi parroquia para luchar y vivir con dignidad aquí en nuestra comunidad. Gracias.
When we did the neighborhood walks, I saw through the Nogalitos Street and other avenues and saw people in a wheelchair crossing the street because the sidewalks are broken or there's not even any sidewalks. Have you ever seen this around our community? Please raise your hand. Good, thank you. Not only the disabled are affected by the sidewalks, many times I've seen mothers in the same situation when they take their children for a walk in the strollers. Friends, this is embarrassing. Very embarrassing, yes indeed. How are we going to let the endangered, the elderly, the children, and the disabled? This is embarrassing for me, living in this condition, and I would like to work with this church to fight and live with the dignity in our community. Thank you for your time and for being here.
Buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Consuelo Álvarez y soy miembro de esta parroquia de St. James. Estoy aquí para exponer una de las muchas preocupaciones de esta comunidad, específicamente aprender a hablar el idioma inglés como segunda lengua. Aprender este idioma ha sido uno de mis sueños desde que llegué a este país. Lo considero muy necesario para poder comunicarme con la comunidad. Hace tiempo, con mucho entusiasmo, me integré a un grupo que estudiaba inglés, pero desafortunadamente el grupo estaba en un nivel muy alto y no entendía nada. Salí de la clase muy desanimada. Luego en las juntas que tuvimos aquí en la parroquia durante la Cuaresma, me di cuenta de que no era solamente yo con las mismas frustraciones. Mis compañeros hablaron de otros obstáculos, como problemas de transportación y de necesidad de aprender diferentes niveles. Muchos de nosotros, inmigrantes, venimos aquí sin mucha educación formal, así que nos perdemos con el ritmo de las clases. Después de haber conocido personas en esta comunidad con el mismo sueño, decidimos que no vamos a esperar más. Nos comprometemos a trabajar juntos con el candidato que gane la elección y con los oficiales correspondientes para buscar una solución que nos beneficie a todos. Muchas gracias por su atención.
I am here tonight to expose one of the many concerns in this community of St. James, especially and specifically to learn the English language as a second language. Learning English has been my dream from the moment I came to this country. I consider it very important in order to communicate with my community in my new home and country. A few years back, I finally enrolled in English classes with a lot of enthusiasm to finally learn the language. Unfortunately, the classes were very advanced and I got discouraged that I couldn't keep up. I left the classes and felt that I would never reach my dream. Then, with the parish meetings, I found that I was not the only one with this dream and frustrations. My neighbors talked about other obstacles with learning the English language. Some of them spoke of transportation or the lack of. Some couldn't drive, others had no car, and others felt the classes were for a higher level of education and couldn't keep up. To begin with, some of us as immigrants come without much of a formal education, so therefore we cannot keep up with the rhythm of the classes. After having met with some other persons here in the community of St. James with the same dream, we decided that we are not waiting anymore. We are committed to work together with a candidate that wins the election and with the officials of the centers that offer these classes to get a solution to benefit all of us. Thank you for your attention.
And before that, I would like to recognize and introduce Shelley Potter, President of the San Antonio Alliance.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Aurora Natividad y soy parroquiana de St. James. A mi primo Guillermo Hernández lo trajeron a este país cuando tenía 5 años. A los 12 años empezó a trabajar para ayudar a su familia. Tenía 23 años cuando lo deportaron a México, un país desconocido para él. Me emociono, perdón. Puedo imaginar el miedo que él sentía estando en un país que él prácticamente no conocía, habiendo llegado aquí desde niño. Unos años pasaron, migró nuevamente, buscó trabajo, esta vez se casó. A punto de ser papá, lo detuvo un oficial de policía que lo pasó a inmigración. Otra vez lo deportaron. Estuvo en Piedras Negras, Coahuila, por 3 o 4 meses. Su familia lo estuvo visitando regularmente y llevándole a su hijo, su único hijo que tuvo. Pasaron algunos días y él no se volvió a comunicar con su mamá, cuando él se comunicaba con ella todos los días. Hace 2 meses de esto y no sabemos si Guillermo está vivo o está muerto. Situaciones así están pasando por todo el país. Muchas personas están pasando por lo mismo y no podemos hacer nada. Lo que más me da coraje, que mi primo ni siquiera tuvo la oportunidad de ver a un abogado. No sé si su deportación, como la de muchos otros, pudiera haber sido evitada si él hubiera visto a un abogado de inmigración. Pero me da coraje que habiendo vivido aquí por 20 años, ni siquiera sabía sus derechos. Estas deportaciones están dividiendo a nuestras familias. Yo estoy aquí porque estoy harta de sentir impotencia. Y como ahorita no tenemos el poder de cambiar las leyes, tenemos que hacer lo que podamos, tomando acción nosotros mismos. Tenemos que prepararnos para saber qué hacer si uno de nosotros o de nuestros familiares se encuentra en una situación como la de mi primo. ¿Cuáles son nuestros derechos y qué debemos hacer cuando nos detiene un oficial de policía o un oficial de inmigración? Si ustedes tienen la misma inquietud que yo, los invito a que se unan a nosotros y tomemos responsabilidad por nuestro futuro y nuestra familia. Gracias. Te doy la bendición.
My cousin Guillermo Hernandez was brought to this country by his parents at the age of 5. He started working at the age of 12, and at the age of 23 he was deported to Mexico, a country for him completely unknown. Some years passed, and again he immigrated looking for work. This time he got married, and he was at the point of being a new dad when a police officer stopped him and consequently passed him on to immigration. He got deported again. He didn't see his newborn son being born. Guillermo communicated with his mother daily, but one day we didn't hear from him. That was 2 months ago. We don't even know if he's alive or dead. His family is completely torn apart. What mostly angers me is that my cousin didn't even have the opportunity to consult an attorney. We don't know if his deportation could have been avoided, like many others, had he had the ability to consult an attorney. But what really, really makes me angry is the fact that he lived here for 20 years and he didn't even know his rights. These deportations are dividing our families, and I am here because I am sick and tired and helpless. And since now we don't have the power to change any laws, we have to do what we can. We have to take action among ourselves, prepare ourselves, educate ourselves as to what we can do for one another whenever us or one of our family members are in the same situations of my cousin Guillermo. When they stop us, an immigration officer or a police officer, what are our rights and what should we do? If you have the same issue and helplessness that I have, I invite you to join us in taking responsibility for the future of our families and take responsibility all in one. Thank you.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Asenet Reina.
Mi nombre es María Flores y somos miembros de esta comunidad de San Diego. Estoy aquí para hablarles de una inquietud un poco diferente de los que han expuesto mis compañeros. Cuando nuestros sacerdotes empezaron este proyecto de desarrollo parroquial, me invitaron a participar. En una junta me preguntaron, ¿cuál sería mi inquietud? y les dije que realmente no me gustaba que en esta parroquia no hubiera un grupo de oración en español. Me preguntaron por qué era para mí importante tener ese grupo. Les dije que yo deseaba aprender de las Sagradas Escrituras y promesas que Dios nos había dejado ahí para dirigir mejor nuestras vidas. Les propuse que tuviéramos un grupo para compartir con todas las personas que quisieran unirse. Y ahí encontraran armonía, cordialidad, una mano amiga, pero sobre todo poder experimentar el amor que Dios nos propone en la Biblia. Amaos los unos a los otros como Él nos amó. Gloria a Dios. Y luego dentro de las juntas que tuvimos, me di cuenta también que había otros que querían lo mismo.
Ahora la buena noticia que les puedo contar es que ya hemos formado el grupo de oración que esperábamos. Ya tuvimos la primera junta y ahora les hacemos la invitación a todos ustedes que estén interesados a participar con nosotros en este grupo. Esperamos contar con su presencia. Que Dios los bendiga y gracias.
I am here to talk to you about my issue, a little bit different from that of my neighbors. When our priest started this project of parish development, they invited me to participate. And in one of the meetings, they asked me what my issue would be. And I told them what I really didn't like was the lack of a prayer group in Spanish. And they asked me why that was so important to me. And I told them I wanted to learn more about the Holy Scriptures and the promises that God left us to direct our lives. I suggested we have a group to share with all the persons who would want to unite themselves to us and find harmony and a friendly hand and experiment, above all, the love of God and the Holy Scriptures, where He told us, love one another as I have loved you. And then, within these meetings that we had, I found that also other people wanted the same. Now, we have the good news that we can now count with a prayer group in Spanish, which has already been formed. We already had the first meeting, and right now we're inviting all of you that are interested to please join us, and thank you, and God bless you.
Hello once again. My name is Gerardo Noriega. I grew up here in District 5, attending school and church at St. James, and graduating from Burbank High School. I went on to attend Texas A&M, where I received my degree in architecture. When I moved back to San Antonio, I wanted nothing more than to move back to the neighborhood where I grew up and continue to love, where I would be close to my parents and my parish. Not only that, but I dreamed of opening up my own firm here in my neighborhood as well. But because of these issues that we've heard tonight, from crime, graffiti, lousy sidewalks and streets, I opened up my business elsewhere. And for the same reasons, I moved my family elsewhere as well. Far from my community, my church, my parents, and my roots. Unfortunately, the crime, graffiti, forgotten and dilapidated buildings, and unacceptable streets and sidewalks make this neighborhood unattractive for small business owners, and do not make it financially feasible to reinvest in our area, especially for small business owners like myself. I spoke about these issues with some business owners right here in the neighborhood, and they agreed. We want to begin discussions with city officials on redevelopment opportunities to attract new and local businesses and local talent back into our neighborhood. Thank you.